Good afternoon. Good evening now. It is Thursday, just about an hour before the Thursday night football game kicks off. I'm with my main man, Steph. He's hectic and busy right now, but he found time for the pod. How we doing today?
Man, if you guys could see the absence of what's going on around me, we just had to put all of our stuff in shipping containers this past weekend. I didn't really get to watch much football because I was moving all weekend, and most of our stuff is gone because we're going from Ohio to California. So it's been a crazy week, and it's relaxing, I should say, to get on this with you, get on this podcast and just talk some sports and take my mind off of the outside world, real life for me right now, which is going crazy. But it's all good things. It's all a blessing. Looking forward to getting out to Cali and escaping the winter time of Ohio.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. I know you've lived there in the past. I know you both love it out there in Cali. That's where you want to be. So I'm excited that you guys are going back to where you want to be. And I know it's really exciting for Erica too, because she's not from the East. So Ohio is very foreign to her. And she's, I believe, from Oregon, correct?
Yeah, I managed to drag her out here, so she's a keeper. She stuck through the Ohio
Yeah.
winters with me a couple times, but we have to go back out west.
Yeah. So excited for you guys, and also excited to be able to visit you again out there. I've only been to Cali twice, and the first time was to visit you. So definitely have to do that again, and maybe we'll play some golf when I get out there, because I love my golf now all of a sudden. So that'll be another reason to get out there.
All right, for sure. Yeah, this time it'll be Northern California. Have you been to, was it, you went to LA when I was there. Where was the other place in Cali you went?
So we went to, what's the big national? Yosemite. So we went to
Oh,
Yosemite
yes.
last August, for a wedding. So yeah, Yosemite was really cool. It was beautiful. I don't even know what part of that was like.
Yosemite's so vast that you could have flown in a couple different places. You probably still flew into LA though, right?
No, we didn't fly into LA. I think we flew into Fresno.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, I remember flying over Fresno, the football stadium. Flew into there. It's a pretty small airport.
Mm,
And then we drove to Yosemite. Yosemite
yep.
was beautiful though.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll make the California trip. You get to check out Northern Cal, San Fran, Oakland, maybe Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, and we'll get you
Oh
over there.
man, Lake Tahoe. I want to go to Lake Tahoe so bad. It looks
It's
amazing out
awesome.
there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Cool. All right. Well, we will start with the week. We'll do a quick week 5 recap. And, obviously because the games are, first game is tonight, and, we're already on to week 6. So we'll do a quick recap. We'll go over our picks from last week. So the overall standings now, it's 51 wins for me, 25 losses, and 1 tie. And then you are at 48 wins, 28 losses, and 1 tie. And last week I went 8 wins, 6 losses, and you went 6 wins and 8 losses. So I took 2 games on you there. But you had a nice Monday night. Monday night helped you out because Sunday night we both had the Bills, and the Bills lost. But on Monday night it was Chiefs Jags. I picked the Chiefs, and you got the Jags on that one. So that was a big win for you, because there was a chance I could have went up 3
Yeah,
last week.
that's the first time I went with the negative record, so that's not good.
Yeah, it was a strange week last week. They're very unpredictable.
For sure.
If there's any games, let me think of the games that really stood out to me that were unpredictable. I mean, the Saints and the Giants. That was probably one.
Yep, that was
It
an
could have.
L for me.
Yep.
Here, I'll
So
tell you my L's real quick. I know right
yeah,
off the
tell me
bat,
your
man.
L's,
Because
please.
so first off, wait, what was the Thursday game? I think that was my first L.
That
Yeah, the
was
the Rams. We both lost that game. The Rams
yeah.
49ers. So that was a lot of people anticipated the Rams taking care of business, and they had so many opportunities. They were just they were doing terrible with like just capitalizing. They had plenty of opportunities to win that game. But then, yeah, on Sunday, so the first game of the day, I took my Browns and they had that game on lock that whole game. They had the lead. And then, of course, the defense let them score at the end. That was stupid. So I should have won that game. That's messed up. And then the another game that I don't know who you took, but I took the Panthers to lose to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins somehow gave that game away. It looked like I didn't get to see it because I was moving, but I saw the score and I was like, "Oh, cool, Dolphins, they got that. That's a W." Then all of a sudden, Panthers win the game. So I don't even know what happened in that game, but yep, that wasn't good. And then like you were talking about the Giants and the Saints, I did have that game on while I was moving. And that was another game where it just seemed like the Giants almost just gave the game away. It seemed like they had a lot of turnovers. The Saints played well, but it looked like the Giants should have won that game. So that wasn't good. This one is the worst one. So Arizona keeps doing me dirty, bro. They are doing me so dirty. Like, what is going on with them? So they were up like, what was it, 22-6 or something? Then they had that play where the guy's going into the end zone and he drops the ball before he goes into the end zone. Then they had an interception. They fumble the interception and kick the ball into the end zone, and the Titans recover in the end zone for a touchdown. And they end up losing the game on some crazy stuff like this. So I don't know what's going on with Arizona. Like, I got to stop picking them. But Arizona, they did me dirty. And then what else we got? Your Broncos decided to figure out a way to win the game in the fourth quarter. So props to the Broncos. That was another L. And then the Patriots, of course. No one really saw the Patriots beating the Bills. The Chargers didn't really show up, I guess. They didn't get to watch the game. To the Commanders. Man, I'm just listing these off. It sounds horrible. This
Yeah, it's a
is
lot.
horrible, bro. And that's it, though, because then I did manage to figure out one upset of the week of the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Chiefs. This is trash.
Yeah, I had a lot of your losses as well. Rams to start it off, that was tough. I mean, who would have expected that with the injury problems that the Niners are having, and they're still finding ways to win. I also lost the Dolphins game. Dolphins were winning that, like you said. I lost the Cardinals. I think they were up 21-6 actually. And
Dang, that's crazy.
I do feel for the Cardinals fans because I've always said like we kind of broke it last week, but I've always said the Broncos just find a way to lose these heartbreakers, like these close games. Like Sean can't figure it out. We've lost 2 straight games and the last second field goal, and Arizona I think has lost 3 straight games that way.
3. Because I've been
So
rooting for them every game. San Francisco, the first one, they were the fourth and like 1. The guy drops the ball. That was bad. Then they had the missed field goal, or they gave up a field goal against the Seattle, and then this game. What's going on,
yeah,
man? Come on.
so they're not finding ways to close out, and as a fan, you just feel like a target's on your back. So the Arizona's the one team where I say they have it worse. And then the Seahawks. I had the Seahawks winning. They lost that game, which that was a really good game. I guess it was a close
Yeah, so
game.
that was another game I had on while I was moving. And I just kept hearing, because I wasn't really able to sit down and watch. I just kept hearing cheering and cheering and cheering, and the commentators going crazy. Then you look at the stats of the 2 quarterbacks, and it was ridiculous. Like Baker Mayfield was like, he only had like 4 or 5 incompletions, and he threw 40 balls. And then Sam Darnold was also on the same, pretty close to that. Like he also had a crazy game with their stats. Seemed like it was a
Yeah.
wild game to watch.
Yep. So the Seahawks lost, and then Bills and Chiefs. So I was looking all right until those last 2 games. So 8-6, not great. But when I look at the records overall, 51 wins, 25 losses, not bad. And same with 48 wins and 28 losses.
I got to make up
So
some ground this week. Let's go.
yeah, I mean, I'd say it's almost impossible to come back from like 10, like being up or being down 10. So
Yeah, I think about 5 is about as close as you can really get. After that, it's probably whoever's
you're
got
gonna
that is going to be winning.
yeah, because then you're gonna get to a point where you're just picking desperate. Like, all right, I'm
Mm,
just gonna pick the opposite of him. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we with these records, might as well just, if you're a betting man, throw some money on the money lines. You know, if you're 51 and 25 and 48 and 28, I mean, you probably want to pick games that are kind of pick 'em games, but If you're winning, almost double the games you're losing. So that's a interesting thought there. Um, yeah, we'll save. There's one game I do want to talk about, and it is the Broncos beating the Eagles. What are your thoughts on that game? You know, I was hard on Denver and I was hard on Sean Payton. Um, Somehow they came back and won that game. What are your thoughts on that?
So I can't give you too much because I didn't actually sit down and watch the game. I just saw some highlights, but I do think it was pretty ballsy of them to go for two in the fourth quarter to take the lead. And they ended up getting that 2-point conversion as well. So that showed a lot of belief in Bo Nix as a second-year quarterback. And it also showed a lack of respect or a lack of fear from the Eagles, which is kind of warranted at this point. I mean, they're the defending champs. They haven't lost this year until this past Sunday, but they just don't feel like they're hitting on all cylinders right now. So the Broncos just went in there and they manned up. And like you said, they've had their issues winning these close games. And on the other end, it feels like the Eagles always win those close games. So it was a little bit of a shift and you wouldn't expect it. But I think they showed a lot of just heart and a lot of belief and a lot of just will to win as well. So the Broncos, well done.
Yeah. I was watching it with my buddy Matt at his house. He's an Eagles fan, and it was fourth quarter. We were down 14 points, and I remember just saying, "Man, it literally the quarter had just ended. The third quarter had just ended. The Broncos were in the red zone. So when the fourth quarter started after the timeout, they were in the red zone. But even at that point, I was like, man, we're down 14, and it feels like we're down 21. So we had 3 points at that point in time, and they scored a touchdown. And in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, Eagles are going to move the ball. It's not really going to matter. And they didn't. Somehow, some way, Broncos came up with some type of game plan to where Jalen Hurts didn't run. Jalen didn't run. And hold on one second. We're going to bring in my buddy Will Jock and see what he has to say about these Broncos. Well, my man, how we doing?
I'm doing well, boys. How's it going?
What's up,
Good,
Will?
man.
Nice to meet
Good.
you, man.
This is my buddy Stefan. We go way back. We go back to high school, played basketball together, all around sports guy, very athletic, fit, as you can see. He's a pretty muscular guy.
Appreciate
And
it.
then Stefan, this is Will. This is my guy, Will. We met through a Madden league, and we're both big time Broncos fans. And there's this Madden franchise with pretty much all Broncos fans. So Will and I met through this league. Both of us are super competitive guys. We actually met each other. We went to London to see the Broncos play, and the Broncos won that game. So Will's a great guy, a fellow athlete, very athletic, and he I don't know, what is it, Will? Do you run like marathons? Let's hear about what you do.
Well, yeah, it's great to be among athletic people. I unfortunately don't do any cool sports. I do, in my adult age, I do Ironman triathlons and I run a lot. So, the stuff for the uncoordinated people, although I did used to play football and baseball in high school. So I'm not just some cross country nerd that is hold on to the glory days. But it's good to be with you guys and good to be talking Broncos and great to meet you, Stefan.
Yeah,
Likewise.
it was this great timing because we were just kind of talking about the Broncos and the win last week, and I was at the point where it was the end of the third quarter, the TV timeout had happened, going in the fourth quarter, and Broncos were down 14, and I was telling Stephon, I was like, man, it feels like we're down 21 right now because we only had 3 points at that time. And somehow they scored the touchdown. And then I was like, all right, Eagles are going to move this ball because, just the Broncos, we've been through so much of games like this where we make a little comeback and it just doesn't matter. And somehow the Broncos came back and won the game. And yeah, the 2-point conversion, I'm not a fan of it now. I wasn't a fan of it then, but it worked. And so I'm very happy for the Broncos. But where do you think we are? Was that a big win for the Broncos? Was that a big win for Sean? Will, what do you think about that
Well,
win?
Well, let me say this. I was in the stadium. I was at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly for the game. So while it was going on, I was enjoying the comeback, but also kind of caught up in the crowd. Obviously, there were some calls in the fourth quarter that were a little bit questionable. So in the moment, I was kind of captured by a lot of that energy. But as I've had time to look back on this game and think more about, what really went down on Sunday and what does it mean, big picture for the Broncos, I think to answer your question, short answer, yes, it was a huge win. But going further than that, I think this was the biggest win for the Broncos since Super Bowl 50. And, that does sound kind of hyperbolic, but if you look back, last year was our only winning season since then. There were really no big signature wins. Our signature games last year were overtime losses to the Bengals and that blocked field goal loss against the Chiefs. Our big wins were like, okay, we beat the Chiefs backups. We beat the Colts when Jonathan Taylor dropped the ball. Not really a signature win there. The other signature win that came to mind was 2 years ago, Russ and Sean Payton in their first year beating the Chiefs, breaking the streak. But this game clears that for me, and I think it's huge going into this week in London and just for this team the rest of the season.
Yeah. I agree, and you probably saw it in some of the chatter in the Madden League, the chat. Usually I'm the positive guy, I'm like, all right, we're gonna find a way, like we're gonna turn things around. In the last couple games, I was a little hard on Sean. I was like, man, we're not beating playoff teams. We're like you said, we're beating okay teams. We're not beating playoff teams, and that was the win I needed to see, and they went on to do it. So, you were very supportive of Sean through all this. Was I a little too hard on Sean?
No, you weren't, because I think when we're watching it up close and personal, it's hard to see great coaching week to week because all good coaches, I know you like Mike Tomlin, all good coaches make bad decisions, including Mike Tomlin, including Sean Payton. We get on all these coaches, even elite play callers like Sean McVay for some of their play calling decisions. You think back to last Thursday, running the ball on 4th and 1. So when we're close to it, it's easy to be critical of our coaches. But when you take a step back and look at the big picture, he made us a playoff team last year, and I think it really feeds into this week, actually. One of the superpowers of Sean is kind of being the culture builder and building up everybody 1 to 53 in that locker room because you have built a winning culture. And where does that show up, right? It doesn't show up in the play calls. Sometimes you have games where there's more penalties, but it shows up on like these week-long trips. So the Broncos are in England all week. Think back to last year. They start out 0-2, then they fly to Tampa, take the road trip up to Virginia, and then play the Jets. And they were away for like over a week. And they win both those games. They go back to Denver 2-2. So I think those week-long, they're like kind of a mini training camp inside the season. Or I know you guys are both athletes. You played sports. Those team trips that you would take in high school and college, that's where you really mesh as a squad. And I think
Yep.
Sean Payton being the culture builder, we saw success last year. You got that Eagles win coupled with this week where he's bringing all the boys to England, bring them all together. That's going to start this little run where we start to see, okay, this is the Broncos team that people were talking about in the offseason could win the West, could come out of the AFC.
Yeah. And things are wide open. Everyone thought, and I was like, man, they're running off with this thing 3-0. And then Chargers lose 2 games that you just don't expect. So, yeah, this is they're starting to roll. And I was telling Stephon last week, Sean starts off slow, and it's no different this year. Started off slow, couple games they lost, they should have won, and now they're starting to heat up. They beat Philly, and then this is a great game right after a tough Philly game. This game against the Jets, I do see the Broncos winning, and I see them taking care of business, really, honestly. And I feel like the Jets are kind of be scared in a way. So we'll see what happens. I feel like this team is a playoff team this year, but I think in the next 3 years is when I really feel like this team is special. I still don't think we have great weapons. Cortland Sutton's pretty good, but they could use another stud receiver, and I think they'll get that within the next 2 or 3 years. So, Will, one more question here. So how do you feel about this team this year What do you feel about, how they're going to play this year? What are they going to do in the playoffs? Are they going to make the playoffs? And then how do you feel about this team, this Broncos team? Pretty much, how do you feel about Bo and Sean in the next 3 years?
Well, I'm with you that the window is, it started last year. It's kind of the 5-year Bo Nix rookie contract because Bo has shown to be a starting caliber quarterback. Has he shown to be that extend, give $60 million a year, reset the market type of guy? I would argue that no, he hasn't. But we have those 5 years, and who knows how long Sean Payton is going to want to coach. So to answer your second question first, I think the window is securely open. For this year specifically, you know, I would have said that I'll take a competitive game in the playoffs against the Bills or against the Ravens or against the Chiefs because last year we made that step of making the playoffs and then we kind of saw that we didn't really belong on that field with the Bills, at least at a competitive level. So I would have said, okay, let's get in there and with one of these AFC elite teams, let's go toe to toe with them. But I think we need to reset our expectations like we always do in the NFL, kind of on a week to week basis. And because of exactly what you said, the AFC is wide open. The Chargers have taken a step back. The Ravens are in big trouble right now with what's going on their defense. And the Chiefs are behind the 8 ball. The Bills are really that only team that has lived up to the preseason billing. So I think we're better than last year. Not juggernaut level, but we're 10 to 20% better. So that might be 10-7, 11-6. But I think once you're in the playoffs, which I think they will be there again, you have to go into it like we could come out of the AFC because it
Yep,
looks wide open.
it really does. Stefan, do you have anything for Will?
Well, as a non-Denver Broncos fan, I have to ask the question about this game. Was it really that Denver was that impressive, or was it Philadelphia just finally got caught slacking like they've been doing if someone took advantage of it? Because, I mean, when I think of the Broncos, like, I think they got a nice squad, but I don't see AFC Championship. I understand the AFC is wide open, like Will just explained. I agree with that. But the Broncos still aren't one of those teams that I feel like is going to make that push. And I think that just looking at this game, a lot of it to me was Philadelphia just not understanding what they're doing with their play calling still, doing the same thing they've done all season and finally just getting caught by the Broncos. The Broncos took advantage. It was a great win for sure. But I don't know if it was the Broncos becoming elite or Philadelphia dropping the ball finally.
I think that's a fair point, and I honestly don't disagree with anything that you said. I mean, I'm not out here saying that the Broncos have the most loaded roster in the NFL, and I would also agree with some of your critiques about the Eagles, right? They haven't looked as impressive to start this year. I'm friends with a lot of Eagles fans because I'm from New Jersey, and they have had issues with the offensive coordinator and a lot of the play calling stuff. It's been right in front of our eyes. So, but I'm never going to apologize for an NFL win.
Of course, yeah.
I'm going
It's
to,
hard to win. It's hard to win.
especially on the road. And yeah, it was ugly for half the game, but they got it done. They got the win, and it's like the Eagles are flawed. The Broncos are flawed. That's kind of my greater point about the NFL in general. Is like all these teams are flawed. So get into the playoffs, get healthy, and get hot at the right time, and you never know.
And I would add on to that, Stefan, when you think Broncos and you think big picture, you think AFC Championship, you think Super Bowl, you're thinking Broncos offense. You're not thinking Broncos defense. And what I would have to say to you is 21 sacks and then 6 sacks, 6 sacks against Jalen Hurts, and 21 sacks overall leads the NFL. And they have the reigning defensive player of the year, Pat Surtain. So it won't be that offense. It'll be that defense that takes them to win championships. And it's always in my life, it's always been Broncos D has been a little bit better than that Broncos offense. And I don't think it's any different this year. And then don't forget about Nick Bonito. He's not a household name yet, but he is becoming a household name. You might not know who Nick Bonito is, but you're going to know, and your neighbor's going to know. And I think that is what can take them to the AFC Championship. It's the sacks. When does Jalen Hurts get sacked 6 times in a game? He didn't rush the ball at all. The Broncos contained him. Their defensive line is crazy. I think there's two guys on that defensive line that has the fastest, top 3 fastest get-offs in the NFL right now. Nick Bonito, one, and Jonathan Cooper from the Ohio State that you got on your chest right there. So it's going to be that defense, if anything, to take us to the to the AFC Championship game in the future, whether it's this year or 3 years. So I don't think it's Bo Nix in the offense. I honestly think it's that defense.
Well said.
But
Before you guys
yeah,
kick me out of here, I got one observation and one question. Stefan, when your hand came into frame, I mean, Alex was not kidding about you being an athlete. I saw your forearm, dude. You are a beast. But my
Appreciate it, man.
question, who is your team, Stefan?
So when it comes to NFL, I don't really have a team.
Oh.
If I root for a team, I'm a root for the Ohio teams. And once I graduated from Ohio State, I moved from Ohio to California. And when I left Ohio, I became just super prideful of all the Ohio teams. So I just wanted to show love to the good old state of Ohio, no matter if it was the Guardians or the Bengals or whatever. So when I came back to Ohio, currently living in Ohio right now, I felt like I had to pick a team. Because it's like, okay, like I can't just root for all these Ohio teams. I'm an Ohio, and now I got to pick one of them. And the Browns is where most of my family has been, the fan base for most of my family. And I just don't. The Bengals just didn't do it for me. Even though Dayton's closer to Cincinnati than to Cleveland, so I just felt like, I'm just gonna go ahead and rock with the Browns. And plus, no one can say I'm bandwagon because obviously it's the Browns. So I'm riding with the Browns.
It's a great time to jump on a bandwagon. Yeah, a lot of open seats on there. So, but okay. You said you're not really an NFL like diehard one team fan. Are you like an NBA? Do you have an NBA team? Because that's how I am with the NBA. I love the NBA, but I don't have a team.
Yeah, so with me, I've always been for professional sports. I've always rocked with just players. I like a certain player and I kind of follow them where they go. Alex doesn't like that about me. So I'll be like, again, Ohio guy. So I'll just ride with LeBron from Cleveland to Miami to Los Angeles, wherever he's at, I'm rocking that jersey. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I am with pretty much all the sports. And like when it comes to NFL, I like to see certain players win. Like right now, I would love to see Lamar Jackson get a win, but I'm not like a Ravens fan, but I would love to see Baltimore win because of Lamar Jackson. So there's certain players that I like to follow. I like their play style, or I like their personality, whatever it is, and they inspire me in some way, one way or another. So that's kind of how I am when it comes to professional sports. Cause it's like the movement, not so much in the NFL, but especially in the NBA, player movement is so rapid now. It's just kind of hard to like, if you really like a player, they could be gone in a year, 2 years. Not as common in the NFL, but that's how it is in the NBA. And the NBA is where my first kind of true fandom really started.
Yeah, a little backstory, Will. That's why our pod is a little play on Max Vert. Like jumping. It's Mac MACS Vert, because we became really good friends in middle school when we both of our favorite players were Tracy McGrady. And I'm still, obviously a Magic fan because I'm a loyal fan. So yeah, that's kind of how it all
when
started.
When they lost T-Mac, they lost me. I was over there rooting for the Rockets.
Nice. Yeah, but you're holding it down there, Alex. So yeah, similar origin point, but different paths taken. I respect that. And we got a LeBron guy and a Jordan guy. I mean, this pod has great potential. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Will. Get some good rest. I know you're probably going to run like 10 miles tomorrow morning, so.
That's wild.
11.
Yeah. All right, brother.
See you guys.
Later.
Peace, bro.
All right, so that was awesome, man. Yeah, Will's a great guy. Like you said, man, 11 miles. He's always on it. He has the Strava app and is always like logging like days. I'll see his calendar at the end of the month, and it's like 2 days of like rest.
That's sickening, bro. Sickening.
Boys just
think
running.
About Iron Man, that's a whole nother level of fitness, bro.
Yeah, I know. That's endurance. That is
it's crazy.
No strength. All right, so that was great.
He said no strength.
Yeah, no strength, just endurance, just straight endurance.
Hey, it's mental strength, bro. That's like some crazy.
It is mental strength. Yeah, I mean, if I were doing those, marathons, triathlons, Ironmans, I would care less about how strong I am. I would just want to be setting my best time. All right, so now let's move on to our picks for week 6. Crazy. We're a third of the way through the season, so these games get more important as we go. Let's start with tonight's game. Philly is 7.5-point favorites. Philly at New York. I think when we get off this phone, this is a bounce back game for Philly. So I'm probably going to maybe put 25, $50 on Eagles to win by 13.5. I'm taking Philly to beat the Giants pretty convincingly.
You said by 13.5, you're going to put 50 on that?
25 or 50, I'm not sure yet. We'll see what it looks like, what the odds look like, but I do like them to win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I like Philadelphia to take care of business, but I'm still not confident in that offense enough to be able to go with the spread that wide. But as far as just, of course, if we're just talking money line, I'm very confident that they'll win this game. They're not going to let another game, 2 back-to-back L's. I don't see that happening for them, even though they're still kind of trying to figure out what's going on with their offensive play calling. And I don't think that I think the Jackson Dart and the Scatterboo and that fun Giants team, yeah, they're just not ready to win on a big stage.
Yeah. And to be clear, I definitely would just take straight up Eagles money line, but it's like minus 400. So
Yeah,
like I'm
you're not getting
getting
nothing, yeah.
zero return.
Yeah.
So we both got Eagles. Okay. They better not lose this one, or
You know what I think I'm
going
going to do in this game, though? I think I'm going to go ahead and put 2 TDs for Saquon.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a nice one.
They're going to feed him. They're going to feed him because he only had 6 carries last game, and they're just going against his old team in New York. I like that.
That's crazy. Crazy. He only got 6 carries last week.
Yep.
Okay. Arizona at Indianapolis. So Cardinals at the Colts. This is a 7. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll go ahead. There's the Denver games before that in London, but it's all right. Arizona at the Colts. This is a 7.5 point spread. Whew. Colts are a tough team to beat at home. I feel like Arizona can actually come out and finally close the game, but I'm gonna go with the Colts because they're at home. I'm gonna go Colts over the Cardinals.
Yeah, at this point, all the close games, like a game I feel like Arizona's going to win, they could win. I'm just not going to pick them because they've been breaking my heart. So I'm going to go ahead and go Colts and watch Arizona win this game because I said that.
I know. That's how it works. All right, the London game, 9:30 a.m. kickoff. It's kind of crazy. You never would think this. I'm actually just going to golf. I'm going to golf while this game's going on. And I'm just going to have it playing while I golf because I just feel that confident that Denver is just going to take care of business. And if they don't take care of business, you know what? I'm golfing. I'm having a good time. So it's not like me. I'm usually sit down, watch every second. But fall is here, and we don't have much time left to golf. Probably another month. So I'm taking advantage of it. I'm taking Broncos over Jets.
Well, if there's a game to miss, it would be a Jets game. So I like the Broncos to take care of business in this one as well.
Okay, I hear Matt back there.
Wow, this mic is picking up some good stuff.
He's having a good time. Yeah, he's talking. All right, Chargers at Dolphins. 3.5 points going towards the Chargers. So Chargers are favored by 3.5. Wow, they have fallen off, and they've also lost Omarion Hampton to IR. So they just lost a starting running back. So they're down to Hassan Haskins and Vidal as their 2.
My dog's trying to tear my door down.
Okay, yeah, take your time. So yeah, I like. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins in this game. I think the Chargers are. They're trending down. Let's just say that Chargers are trending down. Not to say that the Dolphins are trending up, but I just feel good about Miami winning this game.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chargers. I don't like the Hamptons down, but I don't think they're going to lose 3 games in a row. I think they're too good quality of a team, especially if they're playing against a team that I believe is below average in the Dolphins. So I think that they can win this game. They should win this game and try to get back on the right track. So let's go Chargers.
Okay. Patriots at Saints. This is what a point I want to bring up is Spencer Rattler's playing good football right now. I think he's got 6 touchdowns and 1 interception, and he got his first win as a starting QB in the NFL last week. I think he was either 0 for 9, 0 and 9 or 0 and 10 before that. So round of applause for Spencer for keeping it together and he's not turning the ball over, at least throwing the interceptions at a high clip. So the team success isn't that great, but he's playing pretty well. So good for Spencer and the Saints, and good for the Patriots as well to go in Buffalo and beat Buffalo. That's a big time win. For this game, I'm gonna go with Mike Vrabel in the Patriots to beat the Saints. I think I'm just gonna look at the coaching matchup here. I just think Vrabel is a veteran compared to Kellen Moore that's still learning the ways of being a coach in the NFL. They have similar rosters, and the Patriots might have a little bit better of a roster. So I'm going to go with the Patriots to beat the Saints.
Yeah, I like the Patriots to win this game too. As you've heard me say in the past, I'm a big vibes guy, and I think they're feeling good after their win in Buffalo. It's really hard to get a win in Buffalo. That just doesn't really happen. So they got that done, and they seem like everyone was obviously you're always going to feel good after a win, but it just seemed really genuine what you saw from the coach interaction with the players. Stephon Diggs seems like he's like actually trying to really be cordial and upbeat for his young quarterback. So, and he's starting to look healthy too. So the offense is going to be more explosive and the defense is solid. So I like the Patriots to take care of business. And even though you said Spencer Rattler's playing better, I still don't feel like he is a QB1 in the NFL. So I think the Patriots can expose him there.
Okay. Yeah. Diggs is really playing well. He's starting to hit for him again. It wasn't that long ago, less than a year ago, I think, when he tore his ACL. So he's really starting to heat up. He had 10 catches for like 140 yards last week. So Diggs is starting to be Drake May's number one target. Let's move on to the always in the headline Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Cleveland is down to 2 quarterbacks on their roster after having 6 in the offseason. Go
Did they
ahead.
just
Do they
bring
have
up
3?
Zappy?
Oh,
Zappy.
well, like I said, two quarterbacks on the roster. No. So yeah, they have Bailey Zappi as well. But of course they traded Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals. So Cleveland is at Pittsburgh, and Gabriel actually looked pretty solid last week. I have to give it to him. He took care of the football, and he didn't look too small out there. So he had a pretty nice game. We'll see what he can do. This is a big test against Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh defense. They're going to be coming after him, TJ Watt, all that stuff. So I like the Patriots, and I like the Patriots big. I know it's a divisional game. You don't take big.
Steelers.
Yeah, sorry, Steelers. I know it's a divisional game, and division games usually aren't blowouts, but I like the Steelers to win pretty handedly here. I got the Steelers beating Cleveland.
Yeah, as much as I would love to pick the Browns, it just seems like the Browns are still the Browns. Gabriel came in and gave them a little bit of a boost. The defense did well against Minnesota, and kind of like you said, he's going to go up against Mike Tomlin. So that's really 2 really tough first games for a rookie. You got to play Brian Flores' defense in Minnesota, and then you got to go against Mike Tomlin's defense with the Steelers. So that's tough, and I just don't think their offense can put up enough points. Although the Cleveland defense is still stout, I still believe in them. They did trade Greg Newsome, which I didn't like, but I mean, they're not going anywhere, so I guess I get it. So hopefully that doesn't hurt their defense too much. But yeah, I think the Steelers just have more. They have more ability to put up points. So I think they're going to get the win.
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me. It's the Cowboys at the Panthers. And the reason I say it's tough is Panthers are, they're just like every other game. They play bad, the next game they play pretty well. And it's been like that, I feel like, for like 4 straight weeks. So I'm looking up Bryce Young's stats right now. I just want to see where he's at. So
And
he's at
they're
7.
a team that plays really well at home too. That game's in Carolina, right?
Yeah, it's in Carolina.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young, he's 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, so not the worst. He's definitely played worse than that, and yeah, I mean, Dallas, that defense is just it's it's so bad. I'm gonna think outside the box. I do like how Dak's playing this year, but I think Carolina, like you said, at home, there's a chance that they play pretty well in this game. I'm gonna go with Carolina to beat the Cowboys. Rico Dowdle looked amazing last week, and filling in for Chuba Hubbard. So I think he had like 200 rushing yards. So if
Mm.
he plays again, maybe he continues to shine like that. Maybe he gets 100 plus yards. I'm going to take Carolina to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, the last time I thought outside of the box and took Carolina, they got their butts kicked by the Patriots. I'm not making that mistake twice. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the player that I'm more confident that's going to show up in Dak Prescott over Bryce Young. Or wait, whoa, I'm tripping.
Yeah, Bryce
Yeah,
Young.
yeah, over Bryce Young. And I don't think either of these teams are very good, but Dallas, they have a proven commodity, and I think that Dak is going to put up great numbers. He's been going crazy this year, even without CD Lamb. So I like Dallas to be able to score more points, and I don't know how Carolina is going to be able to keep up in a shootout type game. So yeah, the Dallas defense sucks, but I have a lot of faith in their offense.
Yeah. Okay. Seattle at Jacksonville.
Ooh, good
So,
game. Good game.
yeah, this is a good game. I for some reason I like the Seahawks. I like what I see out of them. Even they're just giving up a lot of points. It seems like. I mean, even last week it was just they gave up a lot of points. Jacksonville is 4-1. I know Clevelanders don't like to hear that. You know, when Jacksonville traded their 2026 first round pick, Cleveland fans were probably thinking, man, okay, we're going to get a top 10 pick at this trajectory. No, you are not. Jacksonville is 4-1. And they just beat the Chiefs. That city has to feel as good as they felt in the past, you know, I don't know, 3 years when they went to the playoffs. So I like what I see out of Jacksonville. They're 4-1. Trevor Lawrence still isn't doing it, but they're winning. So I'm going to go with Seattle, though. I just like what I see more. I like the two-back system they have there. I'm going to go the Seahawks beat the Jaguars.
I think that for me, Jacksonville is one of those teams that I've kind of have a little bit of a bias towards, and I've rooted for them. And I did think that they're going to do well this year. I have them to win their division. So I think that beating the Chiefs, the way that Trevor Lawrence was kind of able to get the monkey off of his back, a lot of people have been talking trash about him, rightfully so. And he didn't play amazingly well, but he did show up when it needed to happen. That last drive, he had two amazing passes. Then, of course, he managed to finagle his way into the end zone. So I like Jacksonville to continue with that good energy and get the win.
Yeah, good pick
Rachel
there.
did not make up her mind if she wants to be in or out. Come on, buddy.
Sounds like my cat Tuna. You know, these pets, they love you, and you put them in the same room as you, and then they don't love you anymore.
Well, the
They want
problem
out.
is all of her stuff is gone. She had a dog bed in here. She had a nice little throne in here, but it's all in the moving truck now.
She's confused. She doesn't know what's
Yep,
going on.
exactly.
Okay, let's go Los Angeles Rams at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm just going to assume that Lamar's not playing. And even if he was playing, I don't think it would make much of a difference. I can't believe we are saying this. I can't believe we are here. The Ravens are on their way to 1-5. You know, this was the team that you felt confident about winning their division. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Steelers are pretty good. Yeah, they got Aaron Rodgers, but they're just going to be like, 10-7. Ravens are going to win 12 games. It's a ride in. Nope. 1-5 is where they're headed. I am taking the Rams.
You know, the sports books still have them as the favorite in their division. So that says a lot about the other teams in the division, or it says a lot about Lamar Jackson, right? When he gets back in action. But yeah, I don't think even with Lamar, this would be a tough game. I think if you have Lamar Jackson, I'm never going to say you don't have a chance, but they don't have Lamar Jackson, so they do not have a chance. So Rams.
Okay. Yeah, Cooper Rush didn't look very good last week. Okay, Titans. Titans take on the Las Vegas Raiders. If there's one team that looks worse or on the same trajectory as the Ravens, it's the Raiders. I thought Pete Carroll was going to come in here. I was like, Broncos now have to get up for the Raiders. I know the Raiders have our number the past 5 years, but that was most of that was before Sean Payton, and the Raiders are. I feel like those are just right in W's. I mean, 40-3 last week. What's going on, Pete? I don't know if he's just riding with Geno still, and he shouldn't be, but it's not looking good in Las Vegas. I just can't pick that team to win after losing 40-3. And I know the Titans aren't much better, but I'm gonna go with the Titans.
Yeah, I'm actually on the same page with you on this. I just have lost faith in the Vegas Raiders for reasons you just pointed out. And Geno Smith looks like Geno from the Jets rather than how he's been the last couple of years. He's just seems so turnover prone. I mean, you got to love that he pushes the ball down the field, but man, he'd be pushing it right to the other team. So I'm not really liking what I'm seeing with the Raiders either. And I think that the Titans, they're not great, but you have that wild card. You have the wild card with Cam Ward. Like he has something special about him. He's the number one pick, and he's played okay. He has his moments, and I think that they can rally behind him a little bit and get a win.
Yeah, it'd be good to see Cam win two straight games, especially right after he came out and was like, to keep it a buck, we ass.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
that sparked
what
him.
it took. Yeah, maybe that's what it took. Is like, man, our rookie quarterback's telling us we're a butt. Like, we got to step it up, boys. So that's pretty good. I like that he has heart. He wants to win, and he's not afraid to show his team and tell the media how he feels. Let's move on to Cincinnati at Green Bay. I don't know how Joe Flacco keeps getting jobs. I tried to tell Cleveland fans, you guys had this idea of Joe Flacco on a 5-game run where he went like 4-1 and it was just nothing but good times. But you're just like leaving the Joe Flacco in the playoffs where he threw two pick sixes like out of your head. Like, Joe Flacco was never the answer. I think he's got 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions this year. Joe Flacco, he's a veteran. He's a solid locker room quarterback. He's a good guy. He's a glue in the locker room, but that's about it. I don't know why Cincinnati traded for him. I don't think it's going to be much better for them there. And the spread kind of says it too. It's 14.5 Green Bay. So I'm going to take the Packers, and I'm going to take the Packers with confidence. I do wish the Bengals well, as I'm from Ohio. We got a lot of Ohio friends that like the Bengals, and Burrow's hurt, so I do feel for the Cincinnati fans, but I don't think Joe's going to change much. I don't think he's going to help you guys that much. I really don't. So I'm taking Packers over the Bengals.
Yeah, I like the Packers. It's just Packers are too good of a team. Although Packers did already take a L to Joe Flacco this year with the Browns.
He
But
knows how to win against the Pack.
yeah, but that was a defensive game for the Browns. That's why they won. Joe Flacco, it's his, I guess, like lack of his horrible stats in Cleveland all weren't because of him. Like, obviously, he's not like one of the best quarterbacks or anything like that, of course. But they just had very little weapons in Cleveland. He's going to be going from one locker room to the next where he's going to be like, oh my goodness, I actually have some guys I can throw the ball to. You're going from literally like not even a true number one receiver to having 2 true number one receivers in Cincinnati. Now, the problem is I don't think he's going to be able to get anyone to block for him, because you saw what happened with Joe Burrow. It's like 1, 2, it's like hike, 1, 2, boom, you're getting hit. So that's not going to be good for an old quarterback. He's not going to like that. So I don't know if Joe Flacco will make it through like more than a couple games with the Bengals, because he's just going to get blasted. But if he can get some protection, Joe will put that ball out there. Like, he's going to throw that ball up, and Higgins and Chase are going to have some fun with that. But it's not going to matter if he can't get protected. So, yeah, I don't think this game is definitely not going to go well. And I think they have the Steelers next game. So it's going to be a rude awakening for Joe Flacco. He's just going to get blasted.
He is, yeah, and I don't know, he's so tall. He might be the tallest quarterback in the
Bro,
NFL.
imagine getting blasted at like 40 years old. Like just getting hit by
Yeah.
these huge defensive linemen and linebackers, and you're 40 years old, man. That sounds tragic, bro. Joe Burrow's half his age and couldn't get through it.
Every time I see Aaron Rodgers get hit, I'm like, "Dang, Aaron, you took a you took a hit there, man."
Yeah, yeah, you
He
getting up?
gets up, he gets up, and I'm like, "Dang, you took a hit, Aaron." So I know what you mean about them 40-year-olds getting blasted. Wish you luck, Joe. Wish you luck. Okay, let's move on to San Francisco. San Francisco taking on Tampa Bay. Niners are 4-1. Unbelievable. Good job,
MVP,
Kyle.
MVP. I'm talking about Baker. That's all.
Oh yeah, Baker. I know. Baker's the man. I tried to say listen. I, before the season started, I tried to say he's better than Hurts, Jalen Hurts, and I think it's clear as day. I mean, that pocket quarterback, man, he gets the job done, and he's always bringing his team back. Even that game they lost to Philly, Baker was bringing it. And he turned the ball over at the end, but Baker was leading his. He has what do they call it, moxie. He has
Mm.
that he has that dog in him. He has
He's
that fire.
dangerous. He's
Yeah,
dangerous, as he says it.
exactly. Uh Man, it's hard to pick against the Niners right now, just because I feel like I've done it a lot, picked against them, and then they win. But I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay beating the Niners. I mean, Tampa at home. Emeka Ibuka is playing like a top 10 receiver as a rookie. He's the number 3 overall receiver in fantasy football right now. And so, I mean, Mike Evans is out, but then they just replace it with another good guy. So I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the 49ers.
This is one of the tough games for sure. Another game I want to try to sit down and watch if I can. I really like Emeka Ibuka. I mean, it's kind of funny because he went to Ohio State. Obviously, I watched him a lot there, but I didn't like follow him on social media or anything. And then I heard them say in the broadcast that he's from Seattle, and I was like, I love Seattle, bro. So I like went on his Instagram, did a little like IG scroll, and I was like, oh, I kind of vibe with this dude. He's into the stuff I'm into. This is dope. So he got a new fan in me. I've always been a fan, but like now I'm rooting for him for real. So come on, Emeka Ibuka. I like Baker too. I love the energy. It's hard to hate that guy after everything he's been through. Cleveland pushed him out, which was stupid. And then you kind of saw he was a journeyman there for a little bit, and he's found a home in Tampa, someone that actually believes in him, handing him the keys to the franchise, and he's steering them the right way. So I like them to continue to just have this energy behind them and get this win, even though I think this is going to be a pretty tough game.
Should be a good one. Should be a good one. I'm going to try to watch it as well. So we got 3 games left. This is the last Sunday game. This is the Sunday night. It's Detroit at Kansas City. I'm not going to take too long and think too hard on this one. I'm taking Detroit. Ever since that first loss of the first game of the season, the loss, Detroit has looked like old Detroit again. It doesn't even look like they're missing their offensive coordinator. So I'm taking Detroit. Kansas City, yes, they won last week. It still
They lost.
doesn't look. Oh, yeah. Sorry. They lost last week. Did they win the week before? They must have won the week before.
They beat the Ravens really bad the week before.
Yeah, that's what it was. So thank you for that. Yeah, Chiefs lost to the Jags last week, and I think they're going to lose again. I think it's not looking good in Kansas City. They're going to be 2-4.
I like Kansas City to win this game, but I wouldn't put a whole bunch of money on it or nothing. Kansas City, it's really hard to see them with their back against the wall. Like, we haven't seen that in a long time. So, but if anyone's going to respond, I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think they're going to let go of this dynasty that easily. And it's getting to the point now where they actually have to put some wins together or it's going to get a little sketchy for them. So I think that they're playing at home. That's another advantage, playing an Arrowhead on a primetime game. I think that Mahomes and the boys will show up. Their offense did show up against Jacksonville. That wasn't the problem. They just had some critical kind of like penalties and stuff like that, which you don't really see from the Chiefs often. When's the last time you saw the Chiefs give up a lead? They're winning 14-0, gave up a lead. That doesn't happen. So I think their offense is going in the right direction. Worthy's getting more into the rhythm. So I think this is going to be a really entertaining game. I think both offenses are going to play well, and I think the defense is going to have to make a play or make some good stops at the end of the game to get the win. And I think it's hard to take a team, Detroit, to go into Kansas City and get that win. It's going to be difficult. So I like Kansas City to figure out a way to win this game.
Okay. All right, Chiefs. And you picked the Seahawks, correct, to win?
Against
Seahawks against Jacksonville, right? Or did you pick Jacksonville?
No, I went with Jacksonville.
You went with the Jags? Okay. Glad I asked. So that was one I had a question mark next to, Jags. Okay, so we got, there might be some movement this week. All right, let's go to the 2 Monday night games. First one, Buffalo at Atlanta, 7:15 on ESPN. Wow. I'm gonna go with the Bills for a bounce back win. I love Michael Penix. I wanted the Broncos to draft him, but Bills losing 2 in a row. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to go with the Bills.
Yeah, I'm not going to think about this too much. I don't think the Bills will lose 2 in a row, and I don't think Atlanta is that great of a team. So I think Buffalo will go into Atlanta and probably take care of business really easily.
Yep. And last, but certainly not least, Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. So we are looking at 2 second-year quarterbacks. 2 second-year quarterbacks going at it. I'm going to go with Daniels, though. I'm going to go with Daniels and the Commanders. They're going to beat the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football at 8:15.
Yep, I like the Commanders in this game as well. I was really unsure of how Jaden Daniels was going to play against the Commanders coming off of that knee sprain, but after watching some highlights, he was moving pretty well. Like, you wouldn't really suspect that he had anything going on with that knee except for the brace being on there. So I liked what I saw. What's that? Against the Chargers?
Chargers, yeah.
Yeah, so he played well. The reason why I really thought the Chargers would win against the Commanders was I thought that Daniels would be hampered in that game, but he was playing well. So if he's like anywhere near 100%, they're going to win. I like the Commanders.
All right, that's it. I think we're 3 minutes to an hour of podcasting, so that's a great show there. I'm just going over these picks again. So ones that stand out, you have Chargers, I have Dolphins. You have Cowboys, I have Panthers. You have Jags, I have Seahawks. And then you have Chiefs and I have Lions. So it's about 4 games that we have different. So we'll see how it shakes out.
It's either shake up or you continue to keep going. The last couple of weeks I've been going down.
Yeah. If I can get a 5-game lead on you, that'd be nice. So, all right. Well, anything else you'd like to add before we hop off and watch this Thursday night football game?
No, I just think that we can try to do a little bit better to get this done on Wednesday. That way we don't have to rush to get it on before the games. And then secondly, we got to get some NBA in here soon. I know it hasn't tipped off yet, but we're close. I saw LeBron. LeBron's already out. LeBron, did you see that today?
Yeah, he's out with sciatica for 3 to 4 weeks. Or not sciatica, plantar fasciitis.
Oh, I thought it was sciatica.
Was it sciatica? Let me see. I can't remember.
Because it was something that I haven't seen from him before. And I was like, ooh, he sounds like he old now.
The age is starting. Yeah, the age is starting to get him. Maybe it is sciatica.
I think that's what it was. I read it really briefly. It's just like an Instagram post I saw. And I was like, oh, I mean, doesn't surprise me at his age. It
is sciatica. Yeah, I had it right the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not used to seeing LeBron miss like the first game of the season. I don't even know if that's happened before.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely we obviously we both love hoops, and I'm excited about the Magic this year. Even if I wasn't, I love covering basketball, and a lot of people are not. A lot of people are just like, I watch the NBA when it's when it's, the playoffs, but I watch it year round. So I will be ready for the NBA talk. Maybe we'll definitely talk about some NBA next week, because after next week, I think next week is the last week of the preseason. I think the 21st,
That's the day that we move. The day we move is the first day of the season,
first
21st.
day of the season. So it's coming. We're 2 Tuesdays, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after season starts. So,
Yeah. And then
yep.
as a sports fan, I got to ask you, because I don't think we really talk about this at all, but like, do you watch any of the baseball playoffs going on?
It's funny you asked, because the last pod I was gonna bring up the MLB playoffs and be like, have you been watching the Reds? Have you been watching the Guardians? Because we're in Ohio, but I never got to it. And no, the answer is, yesterday I had the Yankees on for the last 2 or 3 innings, but I just didn't actually watch it. But I want to, I really do. My problem is there's always other sports on that I like more. So
Mm.
there's a lot of times an MLB game will be on and it'll be, yeah, I don't know, it'll be NBA's going on or the NFL games going on. So I do want to watch some MLB playoffs. I have watched World Series in years past, and I sound like that guy I was just talking about. Like, I only watch the NBA playoffs,
Yes.
but I have watched World Series games and enjoyed them. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll start watching some of these next round
Yeah. That's
playoff
kind of how
games.
I
What
feel
about you?
about the MLB. Like, the last 2 days, as you know, as a huge sports fan, that Tuesday, Wednesday window is just kind of like what's going on until NBA season. So I was like, oh, let me get a feel of what's going on in Major League Baseball, because as a former athlete, obviously we understand at a much smaller level the amount of pressure, the amount of preparation that goes into like the playoffs and that type of thing. So I can always get behind pretty much any sport when it's a lot on the line, like playoffs and legacy and that type of stuff. So I appreciate that from any athlete. Like, if you tell me that you lose this game, they're done for the season, I'm watching. I don't care what it is. So I was watching the Yankees, and I was rooting for the Yankees just because I wanted to see, if they can make a comeback, whatever. I saw if they lost, they would be out. So yeah, I like watching high leverage moments in sports, but yeah, baseball just doesn't do it for me.
I know it doesn't. Maybe we'll challenge ourselves and become more well versed, and maybe we'll start watching some other sports that we haven't watched in the
Yeah.
past, moving
And you're
forward. So,
about to be, you're obviously you don't have a child yet, but I know you plan to eventually.
yes.
And I'm a dad, and my son, he's not even 2 yet, and I have to be able to see what sport he likes best. So I was like, and before I knew my son was going to be a boy, I started watching like WNBA just in case it was a girl. I was like, man, I got to be prepared to like be open to women's sports, watching that. Um, whether it's soccer, baseball, these sports I'm not too used to watching, I wanted to start to consume so I could be able to help my kid make that choice, because I think I'm gonna be a sports dad. Like right now, my dude's already shooting jump shots, throwing a football, like he's kicking soccer balls. I don't know nothing about soccer, so I'm like, damn, I gotta start learning, because like he's out here
Yeah.
kicking this soccer ball kind of nice. So yeah, so it's fun. Like you'll see that when you become a dad, man. It's like you just want them to pick whatever one they like the most, so you got to be able to share all those experiences with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to it. It's gonna be a good time. And anything sports. They can pick whatever sport they want and I'll support it. So
Yes,
cool.
sir.
That'll be it. That's the conclusion of this pod. We will be back. Will we be back next week? Are you gonna be busy with the move? How are we looking?
No, it should be fine. I think we'll be good next week. I'm not sure the exact date, but we leave on the 21st, so that's a Tuesday. So yeah, we should be good.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. It was great to have Will tune in. We're gonna continue to keep having more guests on the pod, just to make it a friendly environment and hear opinions from our friends, because that's what it's all about, talking sports with your friends. So that's it from me. You guys take care. All right, Steph.
All right, y'all. Peace.